Good evening. It's showtime. I'm Teddy. It is April 21st and it's 7:27, getting set up to go live here for Night Talk. Come on in and join me. Grab a glass of wine. We're going early tonight. And because I missed last night, yeah, so I'll give you a moment or so to come in. Let me know that the sound is good and you see the clock there, right there. So give me just a second. Want to make sure that I've muted everything. Hang on for just a second. Doing a sound check. Hang on for one moment. Hey, I see Viva. I see baby Juju, Mimi, twin coming in. Come on in. Come on in. All right. So let me go ahead and get started. Shall I? Ooh, it's been a moment. So, over the last few days in the Smith case, we've seen a rapid series of filings after the judgment was entered. By the way, fair use commentary for education, criticism, news reporting, and entertainment purposes only. And just to let you know, in my case, it still no updates. All right. So let me keep going. First, there was a notice of appeal right after the judgment on the 15th of April. Then the defendant filed a motion to stay enforcement, then just as quickly withdrew, or there was a withdrawal of that appeal. And then there was a shift toward this post judgment relief. It's supposed to be filed a Rule 60B. Well, what the court has done is already clarified that there's an automatic stay in place, once the judgment came down. So it's 30 days. So that would be, I'm just going to say roughly May the 15th. But that would make some of those filings that we've seen unnecessary at this stage. So then the sequence shows that is not a resolved strategy, but it's beginning to evolve into one. And the focus appears less on the amount, this is my opinion, of the judgment and more on controlling what happens next, particularly enforcement, and if there will be any discovery that could follow. So the next step will be whether the defendant actually pursues this Rule 60B or resolves the judgment outright. We'll talk about that because that decision will determine whether this ends quietly or opens the door to further proceedings. So tonight, I'm going to call it D for delay. All right, so we're going to get into a couple of things. Also, there was this phone call mhm, live on air, and I heard about it, so I had to listen to the transcript. Someone like pick up a phone and call an old friend. Well, I mean, was this phone a friend? Like call TJ and see? Because if you heard it from the beginning, well, we'll get into that. Yeah. Go ahead and hit the like on your way in. And you can also email me at unwinewithteddy at gmail.com. So we'll just take a few moments. I don't know, exactly where this might go. But yeah, we're going to talk about it. So let's just start with some basic facts. The default judgment was entered in favor of Miss Smith in the amount of $10,000. That part is not up for debate. It's on the record, but what matters is what happened after that. So you're talking about within 24 hours, a notice of appeal is filed. Then a motion to stay enforcement is filed. Arguments about constitutional rights, enforcement, irreparable harm, all of these things are raised, and then just as quickly as it was filed the next day, the appeal is withdrawn. I mean, just let that sink in because sequence matters. Because, again, this is my opinion, and I'm going to, I stay respectful. I'm just going to land on, what the filings are. I'll give a little bit of my analysis or opinion. But that's not a settled strategy because it shifted, shifting from appeal to withdrawal, appeal, stay, withdrawal, pivot to Rule 60B. And remember when we talked about this last week? It could have been on Friday, I think, when I read a portion of the stay and what was supposed to happen next on yesterday, the 20th. There was supposed to be this motion or filing to pivot to Rule 60B, right? There was supposed to be a filing. Well, I took a look and, well, I see an order and I saw something that the plaintiff filed. And as it turns out, it was a motion to compel for information, but it was premature. And that's just procedural. Why? Because a stay is in place. So right now, the defendant has this time. It's an automatic stay in place. So that's why. But here's what the judge, ruled on this motion to stay. And as a matter of fact, was that ECF 70? I don't even think I know I didn't read it. Uh, let's see. What was it? Yes, it was ECF 70. Order on defendant's motion to stay enforcement pending appeal and to fix this supersedious bond. All right. It's only a couple of pages. Miss Smith posted on her YouTube community wall, and that's where I saw it. Yeah. And I'll just go to the bottom of it. Let's see. It's really short. On August 23rd, 2024, Kimberly Smith sued Daniel Robertson for copyright infringement and invasion of privacy defamation. ECF number 1. On January 23rd, 2026, Smith obtained a clerk's entry of default, and on April 15th, the court entered a $10,000 default judgment in her favor. The next day, Robertson filed both a notice of appeal and a motion to stay enforcement of the default judgment pending appeal, ECF number 67. But the day after that, Robertson withdrew her notice of appeal because she intends to pursue post judgment relief in this court, and that is that 60B. Then there was a response to that motion. Smith responded, and it turns out it was moot. And what this means, I'm just looking here at the bottom, that is in the judge's opinion, is that a limited stay of execution is already in place if Robertson posts a $10,000 bond or provides other like security, it will remain in place. So after that time, if she does not do so before the automatic stay has expired, then the court will need to decide whether to extend the stay. For now, however, the motion to stay enforcement pending appeal is denied as moot given the automatic stay and the withdrawal of the notice of appeal, ECF number 68. The court sees no need for further motion practice on this issue with the automatic stay that is in place. So she could resolve it. She could pay the $10,000 now, or she can put up $10,000 to extend the stay. Mm-hmm. Or she could wait it out until after the stay, and then it would be up to the court to decide at that time. So the court, there's no need to rule on it, except that, well, the bond put up $10,000. So either way, it doesn't appear that it was reduced, right? So put up $10,000 as a security, either in the money or something that would equate to that. Maybe houses and land. I'm just saying, I don't know, but something equivalent, right? So in the meantime, that's what the court has ruled, right? Wait it out and see. So what really is the option here? It looks like it appears either she chooses, either way is $10,000 right now, and even if it's put up as a bond, so that holds it, that's the full amount, right? But it would hold it while she appeals at some point, right? But that's reserved, right? And the other thing, if she doesn't want to do that, then it can go into, discovery, after the period. And that's why it was premature. Only because of that. Yeah. Automatic stay that's in place. So money. Mhm. Is she going to risk going in to discovery? So got to put that, that money in place to hold off that possibly going forward, because we always have to just allow, because the judge said then that would open the door for her to decide, well, you see how this judge has been ruling, but I can't say, what's going to take place. In the meantime, you just have to kind of see how people move, right? So let me just come out to the chat real quick, and then I'll continue, talking about this a little bit more before we get into this. Just quickly, what my impression was when I heard this phone call. It's like, what was that about? Yeah. Maybe someone's planning to introduce some type of testimony and put that into an appeal of some sort. How reliable would that be? I don't know. By the way, wait a minute. The other day when I talked about, the transcript of the hearing, well, I mentioned, but I said I couldn't recall exactly. But the court said basically, and I'm just going to say where the door would be open. She said that, and she was talking to Ms. Smith, if you wanted to expand on this and amend the complaint, that would allow the defendant basically to defend the complaint. So that's why I said I think there's an opportunity, or there was an opportunity, and it may still well be in place, because if she comes back, certainly, with a copyright registration or something like that, that door was left open. Also, if she wanted to amend her complaint and allow, argue the facts in the case. So who knows exactly what decisions are going to be, made on both sides. That's going to be up to, the plaintiff, and also what is filed, right? What is filed? I see here at the bottom, and again, I'm not aware of this. This is opinions. All opinions in the chat are your own and fair use. Let's see. Bush's good evening says Kimmy has a copyright now. Well, then she can certainly go back to the court, because, well, and that would open the door. Wow, that would open the door for, you know, that would open the door for that claim to either be litigated or or eventually some judgment, you know, beyond what she has. So, again, I don't know, but we'll just say that the court um, left that open. Uh, she did without prejudice. That's what she said. She could come back. So it's almost like stay tuned because a lot of things are going to be moving here in in both cases, but right now I'm just saying in the Smith case, I'm just touching on it, not digging into it too deeply as far as speculation. Just just land on the facts and what is in the law, and we'll see. But for at least 30 days in the Smith case, and that's 30 days from April 15th, okay, the defendant can, her information on her accounts or whatever is going to be pursued, that stays, untouched. I'll just say it like that. It's off limits. Her identity. Did she ask for? I didn't read the subpoena to Google. I haven't read that. I did see it was attached. And I haven't read everything, so I don't know if she asked for her identity as well. Identity on the account. I can't say. I'm not 100% certain. Yeah. I know identifiers like, the accounts or so if that includes the name, yeah. I'd have to look at that to see exactly what but again, it's too early. It's premature. So let's see, what did she ask for? So she wanted to know the Google and YouTube accounts, email addresses, account registration information, IP login history, and any other accounts used to post, upload, or distribute content relating to plaintiff. Again, it appears, identity sufficient to recover the judgment. So let's see, she has documents sufficient to identify monetization or payment accounts associated with each platform or such platforms. Let's see. And then the court came back and it's premature. So, yeah. Let me take your. Had that up there. Sorry. Had the comment up there the entire time because I was looking at the. And what else don't I have up? My comments, and then that way I wouldn't have to go back and forth. I keep forgetting. Let's see. There they are. Fair use commentary. Love says, I'm confused. If she pays the $10,000 now, would that close the case? It would. Well, there's two ways that to pay the $10,000 now. So to satisfy the judgment, not to apply that to a bond. All right. I'm thinking that's one way, right? She could decide I'm not going to appeal. I'm talking about the defendant, just pay outright, satisfy the judgment, right? And then that would end there, that part. Or, but you're asking if she pays the $10,000 now. I'm just saying outright. I'm not sure 100%, but if she satisfies and, takes the option, no appeal, pay the judgment, then there's no reason to pursue anything further. But I'm not a lawyer. I'm talking about just that part. Now, the plaintiff, can come back and open the door is still open for her to pursue other things, right? So I I don't know if I'm just thinking because the copyright is attached to the that case. I don't That's a good question. If she comes back with the copyright, I don't think she has to file a uh, a new lawsuit, or, open up a different case. That's part of that case, I think, but I'm not sure. I'm not certain. Well, it's a good question. I'm not a lawyer. Guess I could ask AI, see what they. Yeah. Okay. But it's a good question. It's a fair question. Yeah. But for sure, $10,000 paid to be held in security or for a bond, that doesn't close the case. No. Matter of fact, is stays open. Yeah. While she's filing, you know, to get either it overturned the judgment and or on appeal. Yeah. Mhm. So it appears that what she plans to do, the defendant, at least she's put on paper, she plans to pursue, you know, something before an appeal with the court. Yeah. Let's see. At the bottom, Kimmy just posted the appeal letter. Okay, you mean the one that she filed, that she withdrew, she being the defendant. Hmm. Okay. Up under the tree. Good evening. Says hi. Just heard today that there was a motion to appeal. Then the next day, the appeal was yes, yes, yeah. That we knew about that on Thursday and Friday. Yeah, the 17th. So the judgment was entered, or the judgment was the 15th, the hearing, it was entered the next day, and the appeal came in, and then the 17th, it was withdrawn. And of course, at the same time, the motion to stay, which we haven't talked about that. Let's see, did I pull that up? And the legal, what did she say there? Uh, it's ECF 67. It was filed. Yes. Filed on the next day. Defendant's motion to stay enforcement. It says pending appeal, but that the court came back and, well, ruled on it. Yeah, ruled on that. It's moot because there's already a stay in place. That's right. Mm, And then the appeal was withdrawn. So that basically was that ECF was terminated. I think it was resolved or ruled on. Yeah. What is this? 6 minutes? All right. So I'm looking. Not at the wall. Okay. All comments and opinions are allegedly. Okay. So while we're just kind of touching on that, wow, it's 8 o'clock. Time goes by quickly. I'm not going to be on very late. Let's see. What else with respect to that? That's a good question, though. I wonder. Let me see. Again, I'm not a lawyer. Don't know the response. If it's would be automatically closed. Okay. So I said I didn't know. I didn't think so. Waiting for an answer. So what I can tell from asking AI again, this is not legal. This is talk to a lawyer. Not certain, but in short, it comes back with saying paying the 10,000 does not automatically close the entire case. It just satisfies the judgment that was entered. Yeah, so that's what it says satisfy. The money judgment. Let's see. The plaintiff would typically file a satisfaction of judgment. As far as the award goes, that part is done. Okay, let's see. Oh, so again, that's for the judgment itself. Underlying findings to the extent the court made, if any issues the court didn't fully reach, um, the copyright maybe the because the court didn't fully resolve that, with the copyright. She left the door is open. Come back if you have receipts. Come back when you have them. Yeah. So I'm thinking, even if she pays, that satisfies, that part. Um, but then the plaintiff could still file a new action or seek additional relief if procedurally, if it's allowed. So I don't know. So what is the strategy behind that? How could she use that? I'm talking about the defendant. If she, pay quickly, she one thing that would cut off enforcement pressure, reduce the chance of discovery, financial, further digging, tracing, because that satisfies that part. Mhm. But is that going to happen? Yeah. So again, I'm not 100% certain on it, but the judgment that would be satisfied, I think, that amount, you know, that resolves that. But does it erase the judgment itself or other separate claims if brought later that weren't fully decided, like copyright? No, it seems that's just one chapter. Yeah, just one chapter. So I don't think so. Um, the one thing, the way things stand right now, the uh, uh, either way, right now, for the plaintiff, it's a win. That's what it looks like. I mean, that's what it is right now. It's a win. 10,000 for the judgment, or $10,000 put up the bond while the appeal, or go into discovery if that's how it moves after the 30 days. That's what it appears like, a win. That's what it is. That's a win. Right now, right now, she's winning. It's documented. You can't dispute that. She got a judgment. Now, you know, I'm just saying right now, if the clock stopped right now, what's on paper, that's a win. Yeah. That's what Juju says. Mhm. Don't respond, Teddy. Just keep that info for your personal use. Yeah, I'm not going to respond to everything. Yeah. Again, I don't know how, people's strategies, but there's a lot of options. It appears. Yeah. Mhm. I said this gives me a preview of how how things go in the court and procedurally. And there was a lot in that transcript. Yeah. Yeah, it's um it's not over because this defendant is they're already planning things. They're already moving things, you know, making moves. Yeah. And you know what? Something else that was kind of interesting before I get to that call is, remember the first post that came up said basically they know what they're doing. It's intentional. When the join button was removed from the account, said to, the members, it's intentional. Yeah. Now it's not intentional. Did y'all catch that? Did y'all know that? And again, I'm just going to put it in my words. So I'm not going to read anything, no transcripts. It wasn't intentional. She now says that that's a contradiction. All right. And she's kind of like asked the question, do you think that I would turn off membership to 3 channels? Now, it's kind of funny that, so when someone is saying she did it on her own, no one's gloating. It's just, she did it on her own. Now it's as if she wants us to think that someone else turned it off, if you know what I mean. YouTube, maybe? Why would she do that? I'm not going to answer. But why do you think she would come back and say that? I won't give you the full answer. Why do you think she would come back and say that? Just think about that in your mind. Okay. She might want us to think one way because, you mean somebody called it? So then pivot. So so you don't know. But she put a limit. She said, now watch this. She said 30 days membership would, be back on. All right. That don't do anything, just hold. Your memberships will be back on. Now, something else that's kind of interesting, because I have been in this predicament before where, monetization, not of my own choosing, is removed. All right. When that happened, you don't have the green button or the green light that it says members on videos, because that's gone away. At least it happened to me. I remember when membership went away, all of the badges go away, all the videos went on public. Well, those member videos are still member videos. So that was the second clue to me that was intentional. If people can't figure it out, why would YouTube leave those videos on members if you're no longer? Because if you lose monetization, you're no longer a partner. You have to reapply. And it's not automatic. It's no one can sit there and say, in 30 days, my membership will be on, unless you are just absolutely confident you're speaking that. But if YouTube turned off the monetization, it doesn't automatically get turned back on in 30 days. No, you have to go through an appeal, and you have some options. Depends on what YouTube will, they usually give you time to, like a 30-day that you can apply. All right. Within so many days. And then if you miss that, then you wait. I think it's like 90 days or something like that. I'd have to look. But I'm just going to speak from experience. All my videos that were on members, they went public. So I put them either on private or I left them on public. So unless she's got something different, there's something that's missing for me that makes me want to think what I said in the beginning is what happened. It was intentional. She put it, and now she comes back and says it wasn't intentional. Wait a minute. See what YouTube does in that case. Again, she said it was not intentional. It was not intentional. That she did not turn off her monetization. And then there was something like she almost kind of tried to not say it so loud, like maybe she made a mistake or something. I'd have to listen again, but I definitely remember she said it was not intentional. But then she said before. So that, no, why? Mm-hmm. And it was turned off the very next day after the judgment. The 15th, then the lights go dark. 3 channels. So what is she saying? Was something else in the works that people don't know about? Was there some other kind of violation? Something? Because YouTube does not demonetize you unless there's specific reasons. You could be doing something. I mean, there's different reasons. I can't tell you there's different reasons, right? But she said it was not intentional. So that sounds like she's backpedaling. Like what is she clearing up? With the member button still lit up. And 30 days, right? 30 days. So we'll see. Now, keep in mind that 30 days also corresponds to 30 days. It just so happens. 30 days when the stay is lifted as well. So there's a lot of things that are supposed to happen in 30 days. Yeah. I hope I get a response in 30 days. And I don't know what's going to happen in my case. So I'm just kind of, we can talk about this. Right. Who is Chiefs 2028? Kimmy just posted something else. They tried to file something. All right. I'm not checking, continuously. So maybe there's something there. I just checked earlier today. Um, I don't know. But while you're putting comments in the chat, let's go to this. Let's see how I can just touch on this one for a moment. Fair use commentary. Let's see. I made a couple of notes because I didn't want to get this one wrong. Let's see. And I don't want to quote anything either. So maybe I'll tell it like a story. Yeah, that's the way I'll do it. I did make some notes. Like a story. All right, so is my fireplace up? It is, isn't it? Just a couple of minutes. So let me tell y'all what happened next, let's just say, in this video when she went live, because this part, it didn't happen in a courtroom. It happened live. So she's midstream and, talking, going back and forth, and then suddenly decides, you know what? Let me call somebody. Not later, not off camera, right then, live. You can almost hear it, the pause, the dialing, the waiting, voicemail. So she leaves a message, casual, like nothing about this is strange. Hey, TJ, call me back, and then just sits there. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Instead of moving on, she turns to the chat and starts building the setup. Fair use commentary for education, criticism, news reporting, and entertainment purposes only. Quote, do y'all remember? Press 3 if you remember. She's not just telling a story anymore. She's recruiting memory, pulling the audience into it, making them part of this live timeline. She brings up something from 2023, a situation where someone's number got put out. People were calling, and at that time, the blame was on TJ. I recall how it went. Everybody knew it. That was the story then. But now, suddenly the story has changed. Now she's saying, they're saying it was me. And you hear it in her tone, that kind of mix of confusion and irritation, like, how did this get flipped? Right as she was laying all of that out, the phone rings. TJ calls back. And now we're not in storytelling mode anymore. Now we're in real time. She starts asking questions, but not open-ended questions. carefully shaped ones. Should I pause? Are we listening carefully? Okay. Do you remember when, wasn't it you who and TJ kind of goes along with it and like, but she was kind of hesitant. Well, she was, because it's like, okay. I mean, I could just, I'm saying it like what she's thinking. It seems like, based on how she's responding. Hmm. Like, maybe, where's she going here? That could have been a thought, but a pause. And then she confirms pieces, agrees with the version being laid out. And the moment that happens, she locks in. Thank you for being honest, she says to TJ. Just like that. The narrative tightens, but then it shifts again, because now it's not just about who did what back then. Now it becomes, now they're saying it was me. And then the turn, not denial, not confusion, ownership. Yes, I did. And not just I did because of what was said, because of what was done, because of, other things, because of what happened with, again, you'll have to kind of listen to get maybe a few of those things filled in. Do you see what just happened? We went from, that didn't happen, that's not me, that was someone else, that might have happened, yes, it happened, and here's why. It was justified. All in one sequence, all with these questions that were not open ended, more like leading. Live. And by the time the call ends, the story isn't about whether it happened anymore. It's about this. Oh, you got in the ring and now you can't handle it. And that's how it's reframed. Not as something that needs to be answered for, but as something that just is part of the game. And that's right there. That's the shift. Narrative control, damage control, live evidence creation. Live evidence creation. Note it. Click buy. You see, that wasn't laid out in the beginning. No, it was quite clever. She got her on audio. She didn't tell her she was recording in the beginning. She didn't tell her she was live in the beginning. No, she's very good at this. And the reason I can say that with 100% certainty I have her, Danielle Robertson, recorded live when she called my family member and spoke to him and asked him questions about me as if she was concerned and knew me. Do you hear what I'm saying? She's very good at this. She's very good at getting on a phone, making a phone call, and getting the information that she wants. I've seen it too many times. I've listened to it. I have recordings of it, even personal with one of my family members. Uh-huh. See, this is the thing that she doesn't want me to play. She doesn't want those receipts because I can demonstrate how she does it. It's subtle. It's subtle. What TJ could have said when she called, if she would have just paused, more than just kind of like, oh, like, how did she do it? The setup. Get her on live. Get her talking. Hold the trust long enough to get the information and to, again, these weren't open-ended questions. Get her to take the blame. Get her to admit. And so at the end, she creates live evidence because that's what she wants. Because she doesn't have all evidence. So she's creating something. In case she doesn't find what she believes that is out there. That's some plotting. That's some planning. That's strategic. That's how it's done. And that's what she was trying to do with my family member. Get answers on live, a recording. Why? So she can try to use it. Put words in his or her mouth, leading questions. She doesn't ask open-ended questions. She asks questions. This is not defamation, because if you come, I'm going to come with receipts. And if you say they're time barred, well, you're bringing them up. We can bring them in. But this is how she does it. It's very subtle. It is absolute manipulation, as you say, at its finest. She does this just like when she called and she impersonated another content creator when she was trying to call the court to get parking ticket information and payment. The woman said, didn't you call yesterday? Or didn't somebody? She's quick at it. And she knows how to bring them right back in so that they get back to what she wants them to. And that's getting to the information live to get what she wants. That's the only reason she does things like it's not it. This wasn't for TJ. This was for her benefit. Anybody should know by now. I'm trying to think how did, again, this, I'm telling this story, so I'm trying to remember. Not going to be, let's see. I can go back. How did it start? Let me see. Oh, yeah. Yeah, these were the kind of questions that were, do you remember? Don't you do this? Didn't you do that or this or that? Like, what's up? Mm, mm, mm. Yeah. So that's what it was. She hesitated. Like, yeah. Because she could feel like, you know, like, where are we going with this question? I mean, there was no kibitzing. Like, how you doing? I haven't heard from you in a long time. I hope you do. Yeah. Like, I was thinking about you today and I wanted to give you a call because no, it was jump right in. And that's why normally a person would get something. That's why it's, yeah. Like you come off right away asking questions. Like, okay. That was interesting. That that shows a lot of things, which I wouldn't say too much more. Again, I just stick to the facts and I told it like a story. Okay. Bushes says should have shown up to the hearing, dear. Should have shown up. She could have shown up. But we know, well, at least the court did say that, you know, the defendant or Miss Robertson did get back and say it was, the travel was, too costly, basically. Yeah. hmm So she acknowledged that in the transcript. And she didn't think that she was going to show up. It was 5 minutes into the hearing. No. But what she gave her, I'm talking about the defendant, is several times, I'll show up, but this is how I'm going to show up. Telephone, let's try that first, right? Zoom without the camera. And if you don't like that, make the decision on, and then came back for reconsideration. And the court still said no. And that's why she came back on Monday, the day before, and said, not going to show. Too costly and burdensome, the travel. And she did also mention something about First Amendment, about um, her identity. But the court had addressed that, you know, that she could use her pseudonym. Anyway, long way around to your answer. Bush said, or the comment should have shown up. She never thinks it's too late. So again, I mean, the process is moving. Yeah, forward. Let's see. Please remember to hit the like button on your way and support this channel. This was fair use commentary. It's simply my opinion. It's I don't know in either case or either what the true meaning of TJ's phone call. What she's gonna do with it, I don't know. But I just thought, now this is something that is interesting. Yeah. And I related it to at least 2 phone calls. So now y'all know why. Let's see. Love says she admitted to strategically getting information from people a long time ago. I heard her say it, but I'll say allegedly. Blindsided. Vicky. Yes, before you know it, it's like ambush. Ambush kind of style. You don't have time to really prepare. You're caught. Well, it's live. And yeah. Right? Some people are good at, dealing with a surprise. Something that is concealed, we can say figuratively, a surprise interview. And that's kind of what it was. Yes. We'll call it a surprise interview. Live. And then again, that was creation of evidence because she all but confirmed it. Now I've got this. I can use this. So we saw, we heard, for those who did in real time. I did in real time. I just reviewed it. The creation. And it was the questions and or lack of open-ended questions for me. They were closed-ended questions leading the person to the answer that you want to hear. Now, I don't know, she finally got to, saying things that she did. I wasn't there. I don't know what of that is true. I don't have any, anything other than, TJ said she did this and that. That wasn't my point for listening. No, it is absolutely to listen carefully and to see how she moves, how she's very good at this, y'all. Juju says, I've gotten surprised by a phone call recently. Caused annoyance, but God hit me in the head and I caught it. Scammers, they get away with it because they're so good at it. I'm just talking about, telemarketers. Yes, They are trained in it. They know how to speak. They know the tone. They know the questions. They know how to come back. They know how to either keep you on the phone or not. But if you know, if you can, even if you miss it the first time, but if you're skilled at, you've been to that rodeo before. Mhm. Mm. Mhm. When your sixth sense picks it up, and usually it does, if you feel something's wrong in that phone call, there is something wrong in that phone call. If it's someone you've never heard, this isn't a family member. This is somebody you haven't heard for a long time. It's kind of like, can I just flip for a second? And, I know people are listening. Hang on just for a second. Let me get my Gatorade. Yes, Gatorade. It's like when you get a phone call, out of the blue, curiosity or whatever. Kind of like when someone asked a question some years ago. Well, who did you talk to? Who called? My cousin? It's like, uh, okay, gotta think. Oh, a cousin, you know, who you haven't talked to in years, and they just happen to be just where you want them. I digress. Chiefs 2028 says, why would TJ even told to her on the phone she was doxxed and lost almost everything due to this lady, like cash apps? That part I'm not familiar with. I'll just have to be honest. That part I'm not familiar with. You know, I have heard there was reason, and even in that phone call, it was like, oh yeah, there's a history. There was some type of acknowledgement, but it's moved on. In other words, I'll talk to you. Mhm. But you gonna let somebody play in your face? I mean, really play in your face? Well, if you don't know they're playing in your face, you're gonna let them play in your face. Now, this can be applied to, just a lot of things. Again, I'm not drawing a conclusion. I'm just stating observation, but it can be backed up with, what happened, in my opinion. Yeah. So the part where who do I believe and why, and I don't know, that kind of part I can't really answer, but I can just tell you the method, the approach, and what happened during the call, just the dynamics, told me everything in the first few minutes. In the first minute, it didn't even take a few minutes. Something was amiss. All comments and opinions are allegedly and their own thoughts. Juju, Teddy, 100%. Yeah. Again, people have to listen carefully, even listen carefully to what I say or what I have said about that call, what I know and what I don't know. Mm, yeah. But it just demonstrates for me one, a person can create evidence. They can get on a phone, they can call someone and have them, lead and say things. And then they might come back and say, look, see, everything has to be put into context because sometimes people only let you hear enough. And sometimes, even if it's the word before or after, it can change the meaning. It can. The situation, all of it. Yeah. But I'm just saying in general. Yeah. It's more like for my learning, for everyone's, if they want to. Listen carefully. Yeah. So what is this? Uh sorry, comments made by Chiefs is my comment only. Does not have anything to do with Teddy, her channel, or her chat. Thank you for saying because, yeah, I don't know who Chief says, and I don't know the total meaning. Yeah, I don't. Listen carefully. Thank you, Chiefs. Mhm. All right, so I've been on for an hour and a half. It's just about 9 o'clock. Um, yeah, this was DForDelay, Night Talk, and yeah. Biggest bear hugs go out to each one of the grizzlies and the honey bears. I need to check my mail and then I'll come back. Maybe I'll play one song or track. I don't know. But yeah, give me a moment and check my mail. Okay, now wait a minute. Um, Apparently, there looks like something was filed somewhere. I don't know. I'll have to um, I'll have to look at things before I speak exactly what was filed. And that music, it was like, hang on, I gotta read this. All right. Wow. So it appears that there was an appeal filed today. Yeah. Mhm. So action is taken on this so far. So far, there's evidence that there was some action taken on this. And hmm, I wonder, again, I don't know all the steps in an appeal. I don't. But what it says is that that's what this person um, defendant, it appears they filed an appeal. Okay. More to talk about. Let me tell you something else that happened real quick. Okay, so I filed um, a one-page notice. Okay, and then my signature on the next page. On Friday, it showed up. It showed that it hit the docket on the 19th. I filed it. I want the dates to be correct. I filed it on the 17th. Remember, I told you it was docketed on the 19th. At least that's the date it has on it. That would be Sunday. Guess what happened? I'll tell you. On Monday, on the day that it actually shows, well, for me, I didn't see it because, well, I don't think I checked Sunday. I know I didn't. But a response, the defendant responded already on the same day, Monday. Monday. I said, how did that happen? Somebody walked it in. Somebody was there Monday morning. That's all I'm going to say. Somebody walked it in, for sure walked it in, because it was too quick. It was too quick. Listen carefully. It was docketed on Sunday. Listen carefully. Listen carefully. How did someone get access to what I filed on Friday, didn't get docketed until Sunday, and Monday morning they've got a response in place? In place. Before noon in the morning in Detroit. Court opens at 8:30. Court opens at 8:30. Somebody has access to court records, information, a super fast pass. Who would be like that? Just think. A lawyer has access to things. This is my understanding. A lawyer can have access. Everything is time stamped. Somebody read my document on Sunday, had an answer response, not electronic, walked it in and filed a 5-page response specific to what I filed. Specific to what I filed. And I don't know how that could happen, because I said either they prepared it, but how would they know what to prepare that I even filed? So I don't know. I want that to be clear because I'm being recorded, I'm sure. The question becomes, I filed Friday. Guess what time I filed? Remember, guys? Remember what I told y'all? I was at the court, right? Remember, I told everyone I went late at the last minute. I didn't have time to even read the transcript. I filed just before closing. Listen, I documented that with you guys. I checked into the court on Friday late. I went down to file something. Follow the sequence, please. I filed before the court closed after 3:30. I had a few minutes. There was a terminal. I log on. I take a quick look. I did my live, and I told my audience I filed something and it should show up when? On Monday. It was docketed on Sunday. You know, things can, I'm just telling you, between certain hours. Okay. So somebody worked and filed something and it got docketed on Sunday, stamped. I mean, yeah, it electronically uploaded. It got stamped on Friday after 3:30. It was uploaded electronically on Sunday. And by Monday morning, before noon, somebody walked into the court, gave a 5-page response, and it was the defendant that filed a response. So they read it on Sunday. Or they read it. How did they do that? They read it, they read it on Sunday or early Monday morning and prepared a 5-page response and drove to the court. Somebody for them either transmitted it, scanned it. They had a response in that courthouse. Listen, It wasn't scanned to the court. It would have been scanned to someone here in Detroit if it wasn't her. Had to be, we'll say it wasn't her, right? She's not here. Somebody is here in Detroit, and it's not FedEx, it's not United States Postal Service, it's somebody. That confirmed for me there is somebody here who is walking those filings in for her. Just like, guys, listen, it's on my tapes. Didn't remember the 15th, the hearing in the Smith case. Did I tell you something was filed on the 15th? Somebody was down there the day of the hearing and filed something. It's stamped. Somebody was at the court on the 15th. Yes. Between the hours of 8:30 and 4:30, somebody was, yes. And somebody has access faster than ever. How there is somebody who would either have to be linked legal, have some type of legal background. It could be a lawyer, it could be a clerk, it could be somebody who has access to the court systems that would be able to look at documents, have just a little bit of a leg up, because this is what I've read, and I'm going to say allegedly. I don't know everything, guys. I know I'm being recorded, and I don't mind that somebody asks me about this. I am simply reporting on what I know. I cannot be certain. I can only tell you what I know from the time frames. That's it. I know somebody was there Monday morning and filed physically. I know somebody has. Wait a minute. Remember when I talked about the PPO record? Careful. Remember when I talked about, I said, how did they get the record? The next morning after the court, when I was in court with the PPO petitioner, the next morning she went live on the 10th. She had the documents. And it was posted over on what's that? Oh, I don't even go over there. Oh my goodness. What's that other? Oh gosh. No, not Patreon. It's I think it begins with an L. Yes, Lipstick Alley. Lipstick Alley. It was posted. Listen, I've got it. Posted onto Lipstick Alley. was the thumbnail of the video that she went live with on April the 10th, 2024 at 11 a.m. somebody's time. I'm not going to say anything. I'm telling you guys, I'm telling you. Something is going on. I can't put my finger on it, but I can't, I'm telling you. Wait a minute. Somebody has access as some type of legal, it's something related to legal. Let me ask. Let me see. And systems. What kind? Hang on. I thought I was saying goodbye. Okay. I'm just looking up. Court staff, clerks, judges, chambers can have immediate access the moment something is filed. Let's see. So, of course, they can. That would include docket clerks, courtroom deputies, judges, law clerks, attorneys of record. When something is filed, they get instant electronic notification and NEF before public even notices it on Pacer. They get a real time, wait a minute. They get a real time alert so that lawyers aren't guessing. They are literally emailed the filing. Let me see. Certain government agencies that handle related matters, federal agencies, prosecutors, depending on the involvement, they can see things early. Media, sometimes this is how it can happen. It's not universal, but media can get early access to court media portals. If it says if reporters have relationships with clerks or sources, and some can get extremely fast at monitoring filings. Some, let's see, some are often well positioned so that they are the first. And like on certain cases, like when something is coming out. So what I'm telling you, I don't know. I don't know. I'm just asking how. How? I'm telling you. Where is Pacer? I'm going to show you so you know the date when I filed and when it was on Pacer. Let me go to Pacer. Just give me a second. I gotta log in. Let's see. Yep. I'm going to make a quick copy so you can see. Just making a copy, guys. Hang on. Let me put up a cover real quick before I pull it over. Okay, here we go. All right. You see here? Wait a minute. I want to pull it over without showing anything else. Okay. So I filed ECF 156. You see that? Filed 417. That was on Friday. It was a notice. Entered 4/19, 2026. 4/19 is a Sunday. Do you see that? And then on the next morning, 157 comes in, filed 420. Okay. A response comes in that morning. Someone walked in a response and it doesn't get docketed until Sunday. So they had visibility to what I filed. How did they do that? I'm asking, how? How? They had time enough to put together a 5-page response. Let's just say between Sunday and Monday morning. Physically get it sent to someone here in Detroit by a scan or email. That person take it, download it, print it off. Actually print it off, because you have to walk paper copy into the court. Walk it in Monday morning before noon. It gets stamped in the morning. How? That means to me, when did they see it? When did they see my filing? It didn't show up until the 19th for me to see. I couldn't see it. Remember? I was on my live Friday night and said to my audience, it's not, I don't see it yet. Do y'all remember that? And that's not a leading question. I have my recording. Sorry for holding you over, but I'm glad I came on earlier. And I know they're going to be thinking about this because that I'm not going to say, I'm just going to say there are the dates, okay? And I was observant. I said, the 19th, what is that? I didn't think. So if she read it on the 19th, on Sunday, wouldn't that make sense unless they can do things like that? I mean, read it and compose a 5-page, do it all on Monday morning, get it to someone in Detroit. They drive down to the courthouse. By the time it opens, I'm just doing the window, 8:30 to noon. That means the morning. It was filed Monday morning, not the afternoon. Not the afternoon. That's a time window, 8:30 to noon. Someone was there and filed a 5-page response to my filing that didn't come in on Pacer until Sunday. When did she look at it? When did she look at it? Who looked at that filing? And I'm going to leave space. I'm going to leave space for the possibility between Sunday, that's when it hit, and noon on Monday. So that would mean somebody is up at night and they had that before 8:30. Ain't no way. And I'm going to say ain't. There is no way, unless they just, had Chat GBT put it together, push a button. They see it Monday morning, push a button wherever they are, compile it. They got to read my 1.5 page. They've got to respond, and they responded with citations. If I remember, scan it to this was not UPS. This was not FedEx. This was not, no. This was a person who showed up in the clerk's office. It's stamped. So what I want to know is, one, when did they read this? How did they get access to something that soon? What kind of people have preview, can see things before the public? If, and I don't care if someone records it, because if you record it, maybe, and you give it to the court, maybe the court can answer it for me. Because now I want to know. Explain that. Explain that it was not FedEx. They didn't mail it. Guys, come on, it didn't hit until Sunday. She couldn't mail it Sunday night and it be stamped, delivered to the court. No. Somebody is here in Detroit that's been taking all of her stuff down there. And somebody was in the courthouse on the hearing day. Go to Pacer and look. Somebody was at the courthouse in the other case on last Tuesday when that hearing, the day of the hearing, I don't know if they were there in the morning or the afternoon. I don't know, but somebody was there. Uh-huh. And somebody, and I have thought this. I wonder if somebody knows somebody that knows somebody. Who is in law? Who has connections? Who? How are they getting things so quickly, y'all? Come on. And think about this. Because I have, this is not a lie. And we all know this. And I've been saying this for years. She can dox people like that. At the drop of a dime, she can dox people. She can get your court records. She had, I'm not going to say any content creator's name. Remember when someone got locked up and it was overnight, like past the midnight hour? Okay. Who went live? Please don't put no names. Don't put, and to the moderators, if you see anything, just delete it. Who put somebody's name, went live immediately? The ink wasn't even dry. And I bet you somebody, you don't, wait a minute. Y'all read between the line right now. Hang on. Hang on. All right, we're at the station, y'all. It's 9:36. I've been on for 2 hours. And I deliberately came on early so I could. Yeah. Oh, gosh. Okay. Now, I'm just asking the question. I'm just I'm just noting what, a time frame. I can't be certain. I've said it. So if somebody, says, "Oh, you're saying this or that," I'm just telling you. And I'm asking a real question. How do they do that? How? How are they 3 and 4 steps ahead of everybody else? How? What is it? Why? Uh-huh. Sharon's Kitchen says, I originate from Law2. They will not give legal advice, only review cases for fun. Okay. Where's my banner? um, where's my good night or thanks for watching? Where is it? Yeah, keep your bare phone on. Thanks for watching. So, I'm just curious. That's it. I'm curious now. It's like yeah, somebody is absolutely helping. Yeah, somebody is helping, because we got to file either by mail or in person. Uh-huh. I wonder who's doing this so quickly. And somebody was at the courthouse on the day of the hearing. Let me see if I can confirm that so you'll know. I'm let's see. Let me put one more thing up. Wait a minute. Let me just confirm. I want to be certain. I want to be 100%. Someone. He was someone down there. Okay, so it would have been, so they were down there a day after. So the 13th, the 14th was the hearing, the 15th was the. Did I say the 15th? Let me look at a calendar. Uh, the 15th was the hearing. No, no. The hearing was on the 14th, right? Let's see. That's right. So the hearing was on the 14th, 13th, 14th, 15th. Appeal was on the 16th. 16th, 16th. Okay. Getting these dates. I know somebody was at the courthouse and filed on Monday. I just showed you mines. They filed Monday morning. That's what I'm interested in. Yeah, don't forget to hit the like button. Joanne says she's running can or wait to pin that. I will replay. Missed a lot. Yeah. Okay. All right. To my moderators, Vicky Black and Baby Juju, and to the mob, all my other bears, like all the Grizzlies and the Honey Bears. Yeah, Solo Dolo getting help. Yeah, they're getting help. Yeah, somebody's doing it. Uh, yeah, and I mean, I don't care, but I'm just saying. All right. Let's see. She was in. All I'm saying is, I don't know how people do it so quickly. All right. Something to think about. That's it for me. It is a 9:45. Yeah, I've already said good night. Thanks for watching. Until next time, keep your bare phones on. Email me at unwinewithteddy@gmail.com. Check community wall. And yeah, stay tuned. Thanks for watching. I did say that. It's time to say good night.